Do you know how I did this? I show you. I used these two eyeshadow palettes. I have no idea if you saw the two of them. And basically I used two shades from this palette and the rest from this palette. The first, of course, I primed already. This shade, I'll use this shade right here. It's a transition shade. I will put a tiny bit more of the excess. We don't want the excess, you know. We don't want everything on this area, on the cheeks. We don't want that. Once we have the transition shade, I will go with my fingers or with a brush. I will go with a brush, why not? The last shade here that I will place in this area. This coppery shade. As I make a mistake in the other eye too, so it's kind of the same for me. I will just flick it and I will blend this a tiny bit more. I want just focus that shade on the lid, not on the outer part of the lid or anything. So I want to focus this metallic shade on the lid. And in the other part of the lid, I will use this shade here. So I use it my fingers, but I will use this brush because I never used this shade and it was kind of packed on the pan. So what I'm going to do is I'll do the rest of the lid, so the inner part of the lid. And I will flip and I will take that last shade from the spice again, and I will concentrate that again. I will flip the brush so I can have this area a bit smooth. Good. I need to finish part of the eye and I'll be back. What I'm going to do next is I will grab this shade, I will place it in the on the lower lash line, like so. You can use the eyeliner you want, that's why I'm not doing any eyeliner. And with this brush that I use for the crease without that shade, I will use this shade that is a lilac, matte lilac, and I will smooth that out. I'll put a tiny bit more lilac. I love purple and lilac. This eyeshadow palette is kind of my favorite color, you know. And now I will grab this shade here and I will mix a tiny bit with the white. But first the white I will just put a tiny bit under the brow bone because that's what I did. And now I will mix this one and this one. I will place it right here. So I can have that. I will grab a tiny bit more of that purple shade. This eye is watering for some reason. And that's it. That's everything. So the final look, you can see it. You like it? I created this eye look, all orange tones, and I really love it. But I use 3 of my eyeshadow palettes to get this one because of the different tones and different undertones. So I use these 3 palettes, and this one might be long because I blend a bit more than the rest of the other ones that you see or you saw. I mean, any of my eye looks. If you go and look my eye looks, you might know. From this eyeshadow palette, I will use these 3 shades. Not now, just I will tell you what I'm using of this eyeshadow palette in particular. First, I will use this orange. All the shade, the description of the shade is in the description of the video. If you want to recreate this look, remember, you don't need to have this palette. I just grab a tiny bit with this brush just to see what I want the shade, and I will bring this shade a little bit up there. So of the excess, I will deposit the shade. I'm not grabbing a ton, not because it's not pigmented, it's because it is pigmented. Or if it's not pigmented, actually this is pigmented. If it's not pigmented, you can build the shade. I use this concealer as a base, but I don't set, so it has a sticky base, so the shade can pop a bit more and show a bit more. What I do, once I place that, I kind of blend a tiny bit, so I know if there is some patches or there is some stuff, because our eye might have some dry patches and the shades don't want to stick to them or don't want to be smooth, so I make sure that everything is smooth. Once that I place that one, I will go with this shade here. I actually use the same brush, and I will be smoothing the edge. I will smooth the edge. Actually, I don't know why I picked another brush, but I used the same brush that I used before when I did this eye. So it could be like more blended. With another brush, I will pick this shade here in the Spice Edition, this shade, and I will place it right in the crease. I will look a tiny bit like this so I can place the shade right in the crease and a tiny bit above. It's not just when my eye go in of the we call it in Spanish mobile lid, but is this one is kind of the one that you cannot move. So I will be right there. I will tiny bit more. Remember, you can complete this eye with something on the lower lash line, with a eyeliner, a wing line. I try to keep these ones, unless that I like to get something on the lower lash line. Otherwise, it'd be like the base, what I feel like it will be great for this season. I will get the first orange that we use from this palette, from the Soda Pop, the first the orange, and I will try to smooth the edges and blend. And once I have that, I will go back with the light shade that is in the palette, is above the orange, for this area as well, because I'm kind of darkening. I will kind of clean the brush from the excess of pigment. Now we grab that light shade, I just go to the brush, and it will go again to smooth out the edges. You can do this light shade last, it'll be the same. Remember, that's not what I want to say. I do my eyes first, because I can be a little bit messy, and I will clean this, and I will get the concealer, and it will be kind of in a better shape. Of course, that in that moment you will have more time, maybe maybe not, and so you can perfect the look. From this palette, I will use, again, this is the shade that I just used. I will grab this shade with another brush. This is kind of more flat, and I will place this right here. And because I already have that second not transition, just that shade in the crease, I won't rise the color on that. Just, I won't go outwards like I do with other looks. I just keep it on the lid, the third part, outer part of the lid. I will go back. It's very metallic. I love this shade. And from the Wow edition, I will grab this orange shade. I will flip the brush, and I will kind of grab this shade, and I will pack in the center of the lid. In the center of the lid, not inner. In the inner part of the lid. My English is getting weird. I don't know why. I will place this shade right in the inner part of the lid. That is a tiny bit lighter, just a tiny bit. If you want to intensify, this is kind of going from dark to light. So if you want to intensify one of the shades, You can use a wet brush or splits, like spritz part of a setting spray. You can do that, but I prefer to show you how they perform dry. I will finish the look and complete the look. I have to complete, Danny. I cannot form the words today, I think. I will go with this shade, inner corner, and highlight the brow bone. So inner corner, and I will place a tiny bit on top of that light orange metallic shade, or satin, soft metallic like I call it, because for satin is more vibrant and for metallic is soft, so kind of soft metallic shade right there. Oh, it's kind of more vibrant, but there we go. And the brush is dry. I haven't done anything. Well, that's the final look. Will you wear this Christmas, New Year?